Yeah, it's the 13th day in the month of May 2024. Welcome, everyone. This is Sports Africa. This is where we discuss football and other biggest footballing stories on the continent. My name is Asha Femi. James Agberebi is here, and we are reaching you live from the Commercial Nerve Center of Nigeria, Lagos. How was your weekend? I hope it went well. James Agberebi, you are welcome. How was your weekend?
Yeah, Femi, it's nice to be on today's edition. The weekend was good. Hope you also had a wonderful weekend.
All right. So if you're just watching our video for the very first time, thank you so much for being here. Please, and the only support you can give to us is to please follow us. Please click on that subscription button. Please click on that button, and of course, as well, you can also click on that notification button so that you get the videos as soon as they drop. Of course, if you are new to this platform, we're formerly on Nigeria Fans Forum. Then we had some serious issues, and of course, we had to migrate to this platform, Sport Africa. Please, Sport Africa. Tell someone about this platform. Of course, the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier is almost here, and all the African countries are once again dusting their fans. We heard that a few countries, including Nigeria, they have sent invites to the players on their provisional list. So things are already looking up. First week in the month of June, and of course, those games will be going down once again. It's going to be very hectic for those players because that's going to be maybe a few days after the season will have ended in Europe. Okay, let's start this program today on a very sad note. And our condolences right here on Sport Africa goes to Tijani Babangida, a former Super Eagles forward who lost his younger brother, Ibrahim Babangida, to a very fatal car accident along the Kaduna Azara Road in northern Nigeria. We also heard that he sadly lost his son. His wife is still a little bit critical in the hospital right there, but she's receiving treatment. So we pray that God will give Tijani Babangida, who is the chairman, the president of Players Union right here in Nigeria, the fortitude to bear this great loss. And of course, we pray for quick recovery for his wife. James, let's get started. Of course, today, Nigeria will be unveiling their coach, Fididi George, in Abuja. And of course, like they say, who is who in Nigerian football will be there, particularly officials of the Nigeria Football Federation. We heard that he will be signing a one-year deal subject to renewal. But James, let's take a focus on our continental roundup today on the trend, what is generally becoming a trend in African football. So let's get started on a Sport Africa. I almost said that just for Forum. Now, so we take it through our continental roundup, then with the talking points, then we'll go to our stand diaspora. Then before we talk about the big game, don't forget that last Friday, we took you to Egypt. So we'll be telling you how the game between Al Masry and the Pyramid ended. Now, it is generally becoming a trend in Africa for countries, particularly FAs, to appoint former players who are now coaches of the various senior national teams. We do not know the intention, but of course, today we'll be looking at whether it is a deliberate intent to develop local football in Africa, or it is to save the dollars, like some people say. So we'll be trying to find out what it is on the show today. And of course, we'll be talking about the preparation for the 2027 AFCON, Kenya, and of course, Uganda. These are countries that will be co-hosting or joint host, as a matter of fact, as they call it. But what is the level of preparation? We heard that it is nowhere near what it should be at this point. Now, James, let's just sink our teeth into, of course, what you've said in the continental roundup or in our intro. Right there, we've seen countries now. Maybe quickly, I'll read out the countries, African countries that have appointed former players as senior head coaches. Now, Cote d'Ivoire, of course, MS5. We saw what MS5 did, from assistant to Alice Gasset at the 2023 AFCON. Is now currently the head coach of the Elephant, and he won the AFCON for them. Then we have Nigeria, of course. Finidi George will be unveiled today. We have the legendary Egyptian forward Assam Hussein, of course, who is the coach of the Egyptian national team. Then you have Algeria, of course, though Jamel Belmadi was fired recently after the dismal performance at the AFCON. Then we had to go back with Cameroon. He was also fired because of Indomitable Lions' below par performance. Then we have Walid Regragui, who is still with Morocco. Now, James, let's look at this critically. Would you say that FAs are trying to grow? Let's even talk about Aliou Cisse of Senegal. He's been there for, I think, about 8 years now. would you say FAs are trying to grow local football or local content in Africa, or would you say they are trying to save the dollars, or what do you think is actually going on, James? Because it is like becoming a trend. Okay, Ghana as well. Let's talk about Ghana. Of course, we have Otoado is back at the saddle with the Black Stars. Would you say it is trying to develop local coaches, or what do you think is going on?
Well, for me, Femi, I think it's I think the other FAs, they are trying to latch on to what others are doing. I think, for instance, Senegal's coach, Ali Cisse, we saw what he did. Took he featured in 2 finals, won one, lost one, and took Senegal to the World Cup round of 16. And Masfai did the same thing for Cote d'Ivoire. He went on a rescue mission and he delivered. So I think others are trying to latch onto this to say, okay, we have local coaches. All they need is just the support. The backing.
Memadi also won in 2019 with Algeria.
Yes, exactly. And look at he's a local coach that took Morocco all the way to the semi-finals of the World Cup.
Walid Regragui of the World Cup, yeah.
Exactly. So for me, it goes to show that we have African coaches who can also hold their own against the best in the world. All they need is support, and they do deliver because the materials are there. Who would have thought Morocco would get to the semi-finals of the World Cup? And if you check out the teams they played against en route to the semi-finals, the likes of Belgium, Croatia, they took out Spain, they took out Portugal with world-class players. So it goes to show that they have it in them, that they can do it. So I think others are trying to toe that line. Also, we also had our own Stephen Keshi, who won the AFCON for Nigeria, took Super Eagles to the World Cup. So I think it's that time we start giving local coaches the opportunity, because one thing I've observed is these so-called expatriates. There are a lot of them. They are journeymen. Aside from they just come to Africa. Yes.
For the dollars.
Many of them, if you find out, many of them, they just rotate. They just go around the continent. Once they coach this team and it doesn't go well, they go to another team. For example, not taking anything away from Everina, they have done so well for Africa. They won the AFCON with Cote d'Ivoire and Zambia. But I think he went to, his exploit with Zambia. After his exploit with Cote d'Ivoire, he went to handle a French club. It was a disaster. He had to still come back to Africa. So it goes to show that we also have coaches in Africa who can also hold their own, who can do it. We have most of the top African countries who have done well at the World Cup. The likes of Ghana, Cameroon, they go to the quarterfinal with even Senegal. They go to the quarterfinals with foreign coaches. But a local coach, Regragui, did marvelous job with Morocco. Took them all the way to the semi-finals. So for me, it's a trend that everybody should hold on to, because I believe we have we have the local coaches. All they need is just support. Like I said, the materials are there. All they need is support, and they also do it.
Okay, James, you talk about support, and one of the major support, as a matter of fact, if not the major, which is very critical, is the remuneration. For instance, now in Nigeria, of course, where we are privileged to live, people have been saying that the NFF should disclose some of the details of Inidi George's contract. And some are even saying pay him as much as 30 million naira every month. Now, okay, the naira has not suffered a lot of devaluation and all that. Now, that 30 million naira per month, that should be like, I think that'll be less than $30,000 in a month. You can never get a foreign coach that would earn as low as that. Look, I would say Pesero. Pesero was on a $70,000 monthly salary with Nigeria. Then after the AFCON, he was demanding for as high as $120,000. So I think remuneration is one part of it that I think the FAs should also think about, at least uplifting the standard of the coaches. What do you think?
Yeah, Femi, you're right. I think that I always make mention of this anytime we are on when we come on the program. It's like I don't know. It's like more these what they do. I think they look like these ex-internationals. like they're doing them a favor by giving them the opportunity to handle the national team. That's why sometimes, especially in Nigeria, you hear that the coaches will now come out later that they've not been paid, they've been owed salaries, bonuses, and because there are no written documents, nothing, no evidence that it's as if they just did them a favor and that's just it. So which means they can just come up with any kind of figure to pay them, and which is very very sad. That you will not do with the foreign coaches because once you owe them, they take it straight to FIFA and you work, So in our own case here, you have this player that they will still have to still be around here. They will still want to be part of the football setup about things, So I think that time they start doing the right thing. I remember when Sunday Olise was Super Eagles coach. I think I think some of the issues he had with the FA then was the issue of contract. I think I know somebody that's very outspoken. He will always say his mind, and they will not like such a person. So for me, I think that time we start doing the right thing. Whatever the contract is, you have to spell it out, make it public, let everybody know. So I don't know why it's always a problem to make public the details of local coaches' contract, especially in Nigeria. I'm using Nigeria as a case study now. It's always a problem. Then later, this person will not out and see he has not received the salary for their own. Even the what's it called, Christian Chukwu. I think I read in one report that he said he's still being owed. Even the late 732, the late Amadi Five, these are people that they are still owed. So you want the best from these coaches, but are you putting the necessary things in place? So when all these things are not there, I mean, it's always going to be a problem. A lot of things that go behind the scenes that we don't know.
Okay.
So I think it's that time to start respecting local coaches and give them the proper contract, just like what you do for the foreign coaches. Because these guys, they have what it needs. They need to, they can do it. All they need is that support and the necessary things to be done.
Talking about support, the assistant coaches for Affinity George is still a bone of contention between Affinity himself and the NFF as we are talking right now. But perhaps, maybe, hopefully, they will have trashed the issue before unveiling him today. I remember at the 2020 AFCON, I think the highest paid local coach was Belmadi of Algeria, and the highest paid, I think, was Louis Gasset. So it wasn't even the local coach who was the highest paid to the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. And we saw what happened to Belmadi and, of course, Gasset. Gasset was fired even during the competition, while at least Belmadi waited until Algeria exited the competition before he was fired. Now, James, let's take a trip to South Africa. Of course, remember they'll be playing the Super Eagles of Nigeria next month, and when the qualifiers for 2026 World Cup resumes. And it's sad news for Go Bruce this morning because Mamelodi Sundowns captain, talking about Tembazwane, is currently injured, and he might likely miss that game. And the largest, maybe even you can say 99% of players in Bafana, they are from the Premier Soccer League in South Africa. And if you look at the list of injuries that Sundowns currently have, it's like saying, okay, the old typical South Africa has scored, they are almost out. Now, if you look at it, you have Tebo Mokoena, his hamstring is at the stage 3 of rehab, and they'll be playing Nigeria in a few weeks' time. If you look at, the likes of Tapelo Maseko, ankle injury is at stage 2. So you have a list of players who are in rehab 4, rehab 1, stage 2 rehab. How much impact is it going to have for South Africa, James? And I think this is almost like the last chance that Go Bruce will have to impress on the job.
Femi, it's not looking good for South Africa, Bafana, because you know that majority of their players from Mamelodi Sundowns, the team who are like the Man City of the PSL. That's why you have like 80% of their players. They featured at the AFCON and they did very well, got to the semi-finals. So for me, I think what's really happening to these guys is maybe I think it has to do with lots of games. I think it's taking its toll on the players. From the league fixtures, they went to the AFCON. From the AFCON, they went back to league fixtures. Then the CAF Champions League, they went all the way to the semi-final. So Femi, it's taking its toll, and I don't know, but I'd say good news for the Super Eagles because it's only I don't know whether it's right to say it's good one for the Super Eagles, But I want to believe that they also have other players in the other club sides and other players who can step up. But most of these guys from this on and they've done really well for Panama. You want them to be around because the chemistry is already there. And that's why they were able to go that throughout the AFCON. But now that they have a very crucial World Cup qualifier against the Super Eagles team, that's always been a big problem for them. I think Ugo Bruce, he has his work cut out now. He just have to come up with a solid side, to withstand the Super Eagles, because I mean, it's like the injury keeps piling up, and the key players are getting injured, So I think they just have to come up with something big.
Maybe quickly, I should reel out the catalog of injuries that Ugo Bruce may have to deal with. Like I said, Tembazwane currently has a hamstring injury and is at stage 2 rehab. Then you have the likes of Bonga Nizungu, of course, ankle injury, stage 4 rehab. And we have Tapelo Maseko, ankle injury, stage 2. Well, I hope that with his experience, the Belgian should be able to cope because he shouldn't use it as an excuse like Eric Ten Hag is doing at Manchester United. James, let's talk about the 2027 host, Kenya, Uganda. They will be hosting the rest of the world as well as Tanzania being the third country. But at this point, James, according to reports, the state of facility is as if none of these 3 countries has actually even begun preparation. I saw a stadium recently that was reportedly commissioned by Uganda president, and they said it was a 30,000 capacity, and according to what they said, no, and it should be, according to the report, that stadium, that facility is listed among the major stadium, but according to CAF regulation, that stadium should be even much more than a 30,000 capacity because maybe it should be among the stadium that will host the big games. And now talk about Kenya, talk about Tanzania. The preparation is far from what it should be, James. Remember Cameroon, when Cameroon hosted AFCON in 2021, one of the reasons why it was postponed, the competition was postponed, was because of lack of preparation, lack of readiness, apart from other security that the country was going through at the time. I don't know, James, 3 countries, and that is why we keep emphasizing that we do not have to wait until you have to host the competition before you put facilities on ground. Facilities are investment in sport, but it seems we just do not get it, do we?
Yeah, Femi, that's why if you check out these qualifiers, in some of the qualifiers in Africa's World Cup and the AFCON, you see that there are some countries who have to play their home games away from home because of what?
You took out of my mouth, James. Sorry to interrupt, because Benin Republic will be hosting Nigeria next month in far away Cote d'Ivoire.
Yeah. So we keep saying these things, and all these things are. I mean, you can't say you are involved in football and you don't know that these are the things that you're supposed to put in place. I mean, 3 countries. We've never had this kind of arrangement before when it comes to the AFCON. We just go 2 countries that come together to host. Now we have 3 and yet still having issues. Well, let's just hope that because it's still a bit far away, 3 years from now. Hopefully, before that time, they would have been able to put the proper stuff in place. They want to be there 2 times. But I believe for the 30,000 capacity stadium you're talking about, I believe the CAF inspection team, I want to believe that they checked that stadium out, and for them to give the go ahead, which means they were satisfied with what they saw. I mean, I want to believe that they know that was a 30,000 capacity stadium. So let's just hope that since everything will be ready before that time. Because it's going to be a disaster if at the time minute now CAF start looking for countries to bail them out, because it has happened in the past. They had to fall back to countries like South Africa. I know that a number of times they've bailed CAF out. I remember after the 2012 AFCON, the following year, the AFCON was staged in South Africa, and they also hosted the 2014 CHAN tournament. So for how long are you going to keep running to this country on short notice? I mean, so you can't continue like this. Other countries they just need to step up. You can't because you want this thing to go around. You want the good thing about hosting competitions, you give you the opportunity to explore other countries. It goes beyond just what happens on the pitch. There are so many economic side, the tourism and all those things. It brings a lot to the country. So you now expect these countries to at least do something. I know that these are small countries that come to hosting major tournaments. They've never done it before. But I mean, there's always the first time, and you also have to do that impression. It's about your impression the first because what they do now that we give them another opportunity to host this competition. So hopefully
Okay.
they'll be able to meet up and put the right things in place.
Okay, so Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania will host Africa in 2027. And Tanzania, at this moment, do not have a stadium to host a FIFA World Cup qualifiers. They do not have a stadium good enough to host a FIFA World Cup qualifier, and they need to put facility in place to host the rest of Africa in 3 years' time. Well, let's see what happens. Let's go on this break. When we return, of course, we'll be talking about Star in Diaspora today. And today we'll be going to a country we've never been before. It will be Congo. Please stay with us. All right, welcome back. It's still Sport Africa. Of course, we've been having fun on the show, discussing the biggest football stories on the continent of Africa. Please don't forget to support us by subscribing to our channel. We told you earlier that we moved from Nigeria Super Fans. In case you're familiar with Nigeria Super Fans Forum and you're just running into this channel, of course, we moved from Nigeria Super Fans Forum to Sport Africa because of some serious technical issues that we had on that platform. So it's more like we're starting all over again. So please, we need your support. Please click on that subscription button as well as on that notification button so that you get videos as soon as they are posted. James, today let's go to Congo where we'll talk about this great guy in Premier League, Jan Wissa. The first time I saw him, I think he never played like an African. I thought he was some African, playing for a European country. And of course, you all know him. He plays for Brentford in the English Premier League. 11 goals this season, 2 assists. Over the weekend, he scored a 95-minute equalizer in Brentford's game against Bournemouth. James, this guy, even at the 2023 AFCON, I'm sure you're familiar with how Congo performed. He helped the country to the semi-finals before they lost to host Ivory Coast 1-0 in the last 4. So he is our star in diaspora today. Very strong, a fighter on the pitch, and you see he scores very clinical goals as well. Jan Wissa.
Yeah, I'm on the different thing about him is it always goes bald.
So iconic, he has this iconic way of celebrating his goals.
So there's no way you're going to miss him. He has done well for himself. I mean, for a team like Brentford, so he's now left for. Let's wait and see what happens in the summer. Because for somebody who did such in a struggling team, but at some point they were really, really struggling, but he kept scoring the goals. And remember, he scored one fantastic goal. I think that should be one of the contenders for goal of the season. So a good one for Wissa. They are known for producing some exciting players. Their captain Bemba. Gone are the days when they had the likes of Trezo Lua. So they've been turning out exciting players, and Wissa is no exception. So a good one for him. And let's like I said, let's see what happens during the transfer window. I won't be surprised if a decent club. No disrespect to Brentford, but I won't be surprised if he moves on.
James, are you saying Brentford is not a decent club?
No, that's what I said. No disrespect to them, but Femi, you know that when it comes to the rankings of the clubs, you know that you will not put Brentford in the first, second, or even third tier. No
okay, maybe Arsenal, yeah, Arsenal.
So he has done well for himself, and if at the end of the day he leaves Brentford, he won't come as a surprise to him. So good one for him, and that's always what we always want: African players doing great things in top European leagues.
Okay, of course, James. Let's talk about our big game of the week as we wrap up now. Our Masri hosting Pyramid, and like you predicted, I want to remember. Of course, Pyramid they pipped Masri at home 1-0. It ended, and Pyramid they seems to be running away with the Egyptian title now. And you know the shocking thing for me, James, is that Zamalek they are 13th. They are in 13th position in an 18th team league. They are in 13th. And of course, Al Ahly are struggling in the 5th position. And I think the only consolation that these two teams have is that Al Ahly, they're in the CAF Champions League final. And they know that they have to win because it's the only way they have to win on the continent next season. Zamalek, they are in the final of the CAF Confederations Cup. And of course, we saw what happened over the weekend. They lost 2-1 to RS Berkane. So return leg next weekend. So they know that if they want to play on the continent next season as well, they have to win the CAF Confederations Cup. So this has to be like compensation for these two teams.
Exactly, Femi. It has been a poor campaign in the league. So the only way that they can appease their fans is to win their respective CAF club competition finals. So that's the only way, because there's not been a good sight to behold. I mean, Al Ahly 5th, Zamalek. I mean,
13th.
So that's the only way is to win the CAF Confederations Cup. That's for Zamalek, and Al Ahly win the CAF Champions League. And if I mean, the funniest part is that it might not even be enough, because I know Al Ahly, they are like Bayern Munich, Real Madrid of Africa. Sometimes even winning just the CAF Champions League and not, you can't satisfy them.
They didn't come Man United.
So that's one thing about them. There's no guarantee that even if they win the CAF Champions League, the coach might still get the sack. That's one thing about them, because they will look at it like it's a bad campaign for them. Their standard is very, very high. So their only consolation is they are in the final of the CAF club competition, and you want to bank on them to win the tournament. So but good one for Pyramid. I mean, they took advantage of the fact that the other two heavyweights in the league they've not done well.
Yeah.
So just took advantage, and they are runaway league leaders. And I don't see them dropping out. I don't see them losing it from this point now. So good one for them. And I mean, when we have other clubs step up, give the big guns the fight. I mean, it brings that competitiveness, the excitement in the league. But when you just have the only if it's not Al Ahly, Zamalek, I mean, it becomes boring. Look at the Ghana Premier League. For 3 straight seasons now, we've had different clubs doing
Yeah.
excitement, and just to show that the other teams are stepping up. They are tired of always playing third fiddle. They are also stepping up, and they're showing that they can do it, and that's what we've seen in the Egyptian league this season. So good one for Pyramid, and hopefully they'll see out the season, and also all the best to Al Ahly and Zamalek in the CAF Cup and CAF Champions League final.
Okay, of course, well said, James. Of course, Pyramid, they are 7 points now ahead of Al Masry in 2nd place, and they have 2 outstanding matches. So it's more or less like they're already running away with the title. And before we go, let's talk about Osama San. He also has serious injury concerns ahead of the Pharaohs 2026 World Cup qualifiers when they were playing Burkina Faso and Guinea-Bissau. So goalkeeping crisis, he has a defense crisis. So legendary Osama San, let's see how he's going to work around that. James Agberebe, thank you so much for your thoughts on the show today. Thank you for your analysis.
Yeah, thank you, Femi. It's a pleasure being on today's edition, and hopefully see you in the next edition.
Of course, the leagues across the world, Europe particularly, is gradually accosting now. So, of course, we take time on Sports Africa to look at every top African or African players who won the league title with their respective clubs in the 5 big leagues in Europe. Hopefully, we'll do that at the end of the season, so that you know that some of the individual players you do not even know where they play for, and of course, you wouldn't even know that they won the league title with their clubs in the countries they are playing for in Europe. Thank you so much for your support. Please do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Please do not forget, it's the only way you can support us and keep this program moving. Like we said, if you think there are other ways that you think we can improve service delivery right here, please, you can put it in the comment section. And we said, in your local football, in your country, in your village, if you think that there are some very feisty derbies that you think we should talk about, it should be in our game of the week, the big game of the week, please put it in the comment section. We'll do research, and of course, we will do the need for right here on Sports Africa. I remain Asholulu Afemi. We'll see you all on Friday. Have a fantastic, fantastic week ahead. Bye for now. Thank you so much to our producer for always putting this together for us. Thank you so much. Bye for now.